What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Fight Island 6. I'm really looking forward to this card. Brian Ortega versus the Korean Zombie is going to be an absolute war. And we also have some really good fights on this card as well. Other than that, it's not really the best card from a betting perspective. I did struggle to find some spots, but the spots I do have, I'm fairly confident. I believe it should be a good night here. But 3 bets I do want to talk about. And also I'll break down these fights from strictly a betting perspective. I've already broken down these fights, like 20 times this week. So just going to talk some betting today. Quick video here. And really looking forward to it. Coming off of a good week last week. The night didn't start out great, but ended fantastically with Corey Sandhagen getting that second round stoppage. So I had a decent sized bet on Sandhagen, and I also had the under 2.5. So it was a win-win. So getting kind of on a streak here, hopefully continue it on this card. That's pretty tough. So would love to make some money on this card, survive this card, and go into next week on a nice little streak there on the Khabib Gaethje card. And by the way, I will be doing some giveaways for that card as well. As always, I do my contest, my DraftKings contest, and the contest on my prediction video as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on that. And with that said, we're going to get into these fights here. Syed Nurmagomedov versus Mark Striegel. Minus 400. I don't even have Nurmagomedov in my Hail Mary parlay here. I have a Hail Mary parlay, I think, with like 5 legs. That's at plus 1,000. He's not in there. I think he wins. I think he's shown really good takedown defense, really good grappling defense. He's never been submitted, but Striegel's going to be very, very dangerous in that first round. If you want to take a shot on Striegel, maybe a first round submission, I think is like plus 900, plus 1,000, something like that. Striegel by submission plus 475, but I do think Nurmagomedov gets it done. Do I want to touch the decision prop at minus 140? No. I think he could finish Striegel late there, but definitely a fight I do want to stay away from. And you'll kind of see the trend here. A lot of these favorites are way too big of favorites. I think you could parlay some of them, but in some of these fights you're going to be sweating, like such as the next one here. Maxime Grisham into Gulov. Grisham's minus 345, and it kind of makes sense. But I'm not all that impressed with the guy. And Antagulov, he's going to have a really, really tight window to get this done. It seems like he goes out there, he blows his gas tank in a couple minutes. So if he does not get that finish in a couple minutes, he's going to lose. So that's where you're getting that minus 345. Do I want to take the shot on Grisham at minus 345, assuming he's going to survive those first couple minutes? No, I don't. I think minus 345 is a little crazy. Grisham inside the distance, winning inside the distance, minus 165. I actually think that's pretty solid value there. Antagulov, he's been finished in all of his fights. 7 knockout losses, 3 submission losses. I think minus 165 for Grisham is a gift if you are on Grisham. I think that's fine there. I did bet the under 1.5. I bet the under 1.5. I got it at minus 135. I think it's like minus 135, minus 140 on some books. I do have 1.5 units on that. The under 1.5 is hit in every single one of Antagulov's 27 fights besides like 2. He's going to come in there, try to get the early finish. If he does not get the early finish, he's going to get finished himself. And I'm not all that high on Grisham. This is more so a fade on Antagulov. And even Antagulov can, contribute to that under 1.5 as well. So I think it's a win-win there. I like that bet quite a lot. I've been eyeing it all week. It's a very popular bet. I've been hearing a lot about it. That's why the line's where it's at. But I'm just going to eat the chalk here. I would probably bet that all the way up to like minus 150. I'd be kind of shocked if this even left the first round here. Jamie Malarkey versus Faraz Azayam. And it's weird. I was on Azayam before the weigh-ins, and Malarkey looked pretty rough at the weigh-ins. He missed weight on the first try, had to bring in the towel, did not look all that great, did not look like he really wanted to be there, did not show great energy at all. And I'm still on Azayam. I'm just not going to bet it. There's way too many question marks in this fight. He was 22 years old making his UFC debut last year. He's now 23, still very young. He can make these big improvements. And Malarkey, I'm just not sold on the guy. he fought a tough fight against Brad Riddell. A tough fight. And that's all you can say about him. He absorbed 90 significant strikes, dished out 30, got outlanded 3-1. And he's a decent wrestler. I think Zayam's actually the better striker here. I think there could be, some exchanges on the mat. Something I was looking at was fight doesn't go to decision. Both these guys are finishers. Malarkey a 93% finish rate. Zayam at 90% finish rate. So fight doesn't go to decision is not an awful look. I wouldn't be shocked if this did finish inside the distance, but I just don't want to touch it. Way too many question marks in this fight. Zayam looked really good at weigh-ins. Malarkey did not look so good, and I think Zayam's going to take it, but am I going to bet on it? No, too many question marks for me. Jung Park versus John Phillips. Again, another one of these favorites that should get it done. They should get it done, but Phillips has a puncher's chance in every single one of his fights. He's always live because of that power. I think Park is one of my more confident picks on the slate. I don't have him in a Hail Mary parlay, but Phillips, he's live. Park has an easy path to victory. Take down Phillips, grind him out. But Park does tend to, stand there and bang with these guys. And if you bang with Phillips, you're just asking for trouble. It seems like a really sketchy fight. Do I want to risk minus 270 for Park to go out there and potentially, get in a big exchange with Phillips and get caught? No, I don't like that line, but I do think he gets it done. Park by decision is something I was looking at. I'm not going to bet it. Plus 245. Phillips is very tough. He's only been knocked out once. I don't know if Park's going to go out there and submit him or nothing, but Park by decision plus 245 is not an awful look there. Jillian Robertson versus Paulina Patelio. And I like Robertson here a lot. Going back and watching the tape, her wrestling's actually really good. Seeing Patelio get taken down a couple times by Cynthia Calvillo, seeing her getting submitted very, very easy. Just give me all the more confidence in Robertson here in this pick and in this bet. I do have a bet on Jillian Robertson. I bet her inside the distance at minus 120. I like it a lot. I know women's MMA fights tend to go to decision, but not Robertson. She's nicknamed the Savage for a reason. She came out and said she wants to get a finish. In her past interview, she even said she predicted herself to get a first round submission here. So I don't know if she's going to get a first round, but I do think she's going to get a submission at some point in this fight here. Minus 120, like I said, I like that line a lot. Her last 9 fights have all ended inside the distance. Whether she's getting finished or getting the finish, her fights are ending inside the distance there. So yeah, give me Robertson here. She knows what she wants to do. She comes out there and gets the takedown. She's not going to mess around on the feet. She showed it in the Courtney Casey fight. Very smart fighter and a very talented fighter as well. She's still very young, and she's improving each and every fight. I think she could be a problem in this division here. So, yeah, give me Robertson to win inside the distance, most likely by submission, but, I could see a ground and pound victory as well. Tough fight here. Gamrot versus Kudus-Tladze, and Gamrot's minus 320. Another case of these favorites being a little bit too wide. Kudus-Tladze, he has power. He's going to be the more dangerous fighter in this fight. He's probably going to throw more volume. It's just Gamrot's so defensively sound. He's so technical. I think he's a much better fighter, but man, it's going to be, come down to probably a close-ish decision here. I think Gamrot can go out there and get takedowns, have some top control. It's just he's not very dangerous. The volume's not really there. It's not somebody I really want to bet on at minus 320. I do think Gamrot wins, though. Minus 135 by decision is not a bad look. I see some people on Kudus-Tladze. Kudus-Tladze inside the distance plus 450, not a bad look. But if you're going to be on Kudus-Tladze, you might as well just bet that plus 260 there. But pass fight for me. I think Gamrot gets it done, but man, minus 320 just seems like a little too wide there. I think it's going to play out a lot closer than the line indicates. Thomas Almeida versus Jonathan Martinez. I thought at first I was going to have a live dog on my hands with Jonathan Martinez. I saw everybody hopped on Jonathan Martinez early, and the line actually got bet up to Martinez was a slight favorite at some point. The money has since then come back in on Almeida, and rightfully so. Watching tape on Martinez, just seeing him get dropped by Andrei Sukhomtov, seeing him get dominated by Andrei Sukhomtov for most of that fight, just did not give me confidence here. Almeida is going to be the much better fighter in this fight. The problem is that chin. He gets rocked and dropped in a ton of fights, but he did take a 2-year layoff, so hopefully that layoff does help him out a little bit. He's going to be the much better striker. Martinez does have those kicks, those knees that are very dangerous. If one of those knees lands on Almeida, he's going to sleep, but I have Almeida here. I like him to win inside the distance as well. He's finished 95% of his wins. I think Almeida inside the distance plus 160 is not a bad look. I think the under 2.5 isn't a bad look. But yeah, Martinez, don't be surprised if he comes out there and gets a knee and knocks out Almeida. But I really like Almeida here. I think he's the much better fighter. This is a big step up in competition for Martinez, going from 40-year-old Frankie Saenz to Thomas Almeida. We're going to see what this kid's made of. And I'm high on Jonathan Martinez. He made me a lot of money last fight. So really excited for this fight. My pick for fight of the night. But give me Almeida to get it done inside the distance there. James Krause versus Claudia Silva. Tough fight to call. This is the hardest fight on the card to call, in my opinion. I see a ton of people on Silva. No shame in that at plus money, because I think this should be lined pick'em. I don't really get why Krause was like a minus 180 favorite, minus 170. Line has since then came down, but I can almost guarantee Silva's going to win that first round. Watching tape on Krause, he gets taken down quite easily. He gets taken down a decent amount of times, 50% takedown defense. Claudia Silva, decent wrestling. It's just Claudia Silva's 38 years old. His gas tank's not where it should be. He does slow down. So although I can see Silva winning that first round, I think it's that second and third round where Krause is going to definitely take over and win those last two. But I do think it's going to be a very close fight. Maybe Krause gets a third round finish, but it's a fight I do want to stay away from. If it got to like a pick'em, maybe I'd take a shot on Krause, but I really want nothing to do with this fight. If you are taking a shot on Silva at plus money, no shame in that. I think it should play out fairly close there, but not something I want to lay my money on personally. Jimmy Crute versus Modestas Bukauskas. I see a lot of love for Bukauskas. I just don't see it. I mean, watching tape on him, this is someone who gets taken down a ton of times in pretty much every single one of his fights, it looks like. Guys know what they want to do, and that's take this guy down. And what happens is they take him down. He's able to survive, get back up, rinse and repeat for like 5 times, and then they gas themselves out, and Bukauskas is able to get that late finish. And, I mean, you could say that could happen here because Crute's gas tank is suspect, but if Crute gets on top of him, I don't see him lasting a couple minutes up until, Crute potentially gassing out. And Crute showed he can go into the third round in that Paul Craig fight and finish Craig in that third round. So Crute's honestly probably my most confident pick on the card here. I like Crute a lot. I like this matchup for him a lot. And outside of him gassing out or something crazy happening, I think he gets it done here inside the distance, inside that first round. Minus 160 inside the distance. I like that a lot. I have that in my Hail Mary parlay. Was really tempted to play it straight, but I think it's a good look there. Crute by sub plus 150, not good enough for me because he could get a KO as well. But yeah, Crute should get this done. Maybe look at the Crute round 1 prop. Maybe look at the under 1.5 in every single one of Crute's fights so far in the UFC. They have all inside the first round besides one, and that was that Paul Craig fight. Next, we have the co-main event, Jessica Andraj versus Caitlyn Kagan. It looks like all of the public is on Caitlyn Kagan, but the money keeps rolling in on Jessica Andraj. So I did want to wait a little bit. I wanted to wait, maybe get Jessica Andraj at minus 110, minus 115, minus 120. But the line went the complete opposite way, and I'm usually good at gauging where these lines go, but it seemed like everybody was on Kagan, everybody. But the money is coming in on Andraj here, so man, it's a pass for me, minus 160. I'm not willing to, have that sweat there. And in Kagan's fights, a lot of the fights she's losing, she ends up winning just because she throws a lot. She's not landing a lot. She has a 35% accuracy, but she throws her punches. She makes those sounds, and the judges just eat it up, it seems like. So I'm fully prepared if I was to bet on this fight to get absolutely screwed either way you go. Not a fight I want to lay my money on because, by the end of the night, you'll probably be very upset you bet either way because I can see Andraj landing the harder shots, getting a couple takedowns, landing the more effective strikes, but Kagan just dishing out more punches that don't land and her still getting a decision somehow. So I don't want to put myself in that position, especially at minus 160. If it was minus 120, sure. I think Andraj is the much better fighter. I know she's coming up a weight class, but she's fought at 135 before. I think Kagan has suspect takedown defense at 50%. And Andraj, she's still going to be strong at this weight class. She's still a very good wrestler. I think Andraj should get it done. I just don't. Minus 160 is a little bit too steep, but I think it's going to be one of these fights where you look back at it and you see Andraj at minus 160 is a gift, but I see a lot of people on Kagan, so good luck to everybody on Kagan. I just don't see it. I mean, there's physical advantages, but you really can't use those off your back, and I think she'll be on her back a couple times here if Andraj fights smart. And then finally, the main event here, the Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega. I have a decent-sized bet on the Korean Zombie here, 2.5 units at minus 180. I got him earlier in the week. I tried to get that out early as possible. I did think some money would come in on Zombie. I did think the line should be a little bit wider for a lot of reasons here. Ortega coming off that layoff, a big layoff in an absolute beating against Max Holloway. He absorbed 290 significant strikes there. And a lot of people are giving him credit for, surviving 290 significant strikes. I don't think he's going to be able to survive if, Korean Zombie lands like half of that. Like, Korean Zombie has some legit power, and Ortega is just so hittable. He absorbs like almost 7 significant strikes per minute. And I know that's, a lot of the Max Holloway doing, but just looking back at it, like Ortega's been outlanded by every single one of his UFC opponents besides one, and that one was like 3 strikes differential there. So he gets hit a ton. Like he doesn't have a striking defense, and that just seems like a recipe for disaster for the Korean Zombie here. So yeah, this fight's probably not gonna hit the mat. If it does, Korean Zombie has really underrated grappling. And Ortega's not someone that goes out there and tries to get takedowns. He has a 16% takedown accuracy, and I don't think Korean Zombie's been taken down since like 2014. He came off that 3-year layoff, and ever since then, his takedown defense has been legit. So if you're telling me this is going to stay striking for most of the time, probably the whole time, I mean, you got to favor the Korean Zombie here just to land the harder shots, just being more defensively sound. Just playing some defense, I guess. I mean, Ortega, he leaves a lot of openings, and those openings aren't going to work against someone who hits as hard as the Korean Zombie here. So I like the Korean Zombie. I bet him at -180. I'd probably play him all the way up to like -220 straight, and then I think he's a fine parlay piece as well. So give me the Korean Zombie here. Just to recap, I have 2.5 units on the Korean Zombie at -180. I have Jillian Robertson inside the distance at -120, 1.5 units on that. And then I have Grisham and Tagulov under 1.5 at -135, 1.5 units on that. Those are my 3 plays. I might add another one, probably not. This is not a card you want to go all in on. Picking my spots, as careful as I can be on this card. Lots of big favorites that I think, could very well lose. Lots of big favorites that should be a little bit closer lined. And I'm already looking, towards next week's card, Khabib Gaethje. So, yeah, guys, thank you for watching. As always, if you can leave a like, it helps out a ton. Just a little like goes a long way. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Working our way up to 8,000 subscribers. Would love to get that soon. And, yeah, good luck on any of your guys' bets if you're going the other way. Good luck to you. Wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll win some money today. If you want to talk some fights, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. I'm pretty usually, solid at replying right away. If you do want extra content, my betting breakdown will always be free. All my bets will always be free. But if you do want to support me more, if you do want to send a donation in a way, you can sign up on Patreon. You'll get something out of it. You get the model you see here, all the stats, all that good stuff, my betting breakdown article, and I do some betting breakdown videos once I place a bet, and I try to get bets out so we can beat some line movements as well. We've been beating some lines as of late. I'm typically good at gauging those lines, seeing where everybody's at, but just sometimes like the Andraj line, it does go the other way there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this week, looking forward to next week as well, and let's win some money tonight.